Yo folks, and welcome to the channel. My name is Borg. In today's video we'll be talking about Tower of Luna floors 71 through 110, and we'll talk about like the later floors and stuff too. But let's go ahead and jump right into this. The most important button that you guys need to know when it comes to Tower of Luna is use this full heal button. Now I know it says fully recover the HP of all characters, and there's some extra text down here in the red. Just note that you can use this once per day. So for example, if you're doing like runs, you lose like every single unit and you've ran like 45 units. If you use that full heal, then you will get all of those units back. So it's very important to use this button once per day. And for example, if you did like a small tick damage of like, half of the golem's health, then it will stay that way for the next day. Make sure to just throw as many teams all on these different floors in case you guys are having a difficult time, because essentially the damage will stack every single day, and you can push stages in case you're stuck on like floor like 60 or 50 or something. Right now, when it comes to actually floors 71 through 73, it's much more difficult than the previous like sort of floors. In fact, I've been using Choco's guide right here. He actually posted this for the month of October, so huge thank yous to him. But these teams have been working for me. That's how I was able to push to floor 74. But just know I can push even harder, but I just really wanted to put out this guide because I know folks wanted to see Luna Tower in more of like a guide like format. Last time is more of like a live stream and people didn't watch it, I guess. So this time we're gonna make it an actual guide. And then there's also gonna be Zanark's guide right here with all the different floors that you can also check out. It'll have like YouTube videos and links to like games with and everything and different teams that you can use. Just note that Zanark's is more all-encompassing, and when it comes to Chocolate's guide, it's going to be more team incentive and showing you like, hey, what things you should be looking out for. And just note, when it comes to floors 74 or 71 through 110, it's going to be much more difficult because the bosses or the enemies are actually going to be hitting much harder and they're going to be much tankier. For example, the team that I have been using is actually this one in particular with Summer Kokoro, Tomo, Makoto, Nozomi, and June. Now, in some ways, you don't have to use these teams. You can go through the past parties and run the teams that other folks were running, but just note that you would essentially have to match the ranks that they have. So for me, I don't exactly match these ranks to the T, so sometimes I have a little bit of difficulty, but this one I can run. So this isn't a team that's exactly like showcased on Choco guides, but it is sort of hinted in the sense that all you have to do is put in Akino and then this team will essentially run. But let's go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So in this one, and this is like a process on how I do like my Tower of Luna runs, is I'll do a trial run first because I really don't sort of like trust myself with a bunch of these runs. You can run like the various units that Choco has essentially put out. Right now, Akino is actually one of the most important units for Luna Tower because her heal is absolutely insane. In fact, she might even be a better healer than Summer Kokoro for these sections because everyone is so bundled up together that her little heal circle that she provides for everyone is going to be great enough in order to keep everyone alive. And June's going to be a pretty important character because June has like the defense breaks, not to mention she can take a lot of damage, and we take down the golem right around like the 1 minute mark. And usually this part is the hard part to judge because we need to get to the ferry by the 10-second mark. In fact, if you don't get to like the last unit on whichever stage that you're on by the 10-second mark, it's usually good to sort of quit the stage, because if you don't beat the stage within one phase, then you will lose all of the units for this particular floor. And I think like even if you do like major chip damage, if it's your main team that you're going to lose on the floor, then it's really just not worth it to run. So right now we're right around like the 30-second mark. We need to kill this snake as soon as possible, and hopefully we get it to the ferry before the 10-second mark. Yeah, so we're right around the 20-second mark. This is good stuff right here, and that's essentially what you want to see. So now that I know like this team can actually run it on auto, then I will do the actual stage. Some of you might be like, oh Bork, isn't that a little bit of overkill? Well, for floor 70 plus, you're actually gonna have to try this hard in case you want to push the different floors, because previously like the enemies weren't as hard, they weren't as like geared out and they didn't have as many stats. This time around, like Tower of Luna is actually going to be testing the players with some of like the most over leveled and latest stats, because before it was essentially testing like the newer groups. Now Tower of Luna is showing its true colors with actual team like sort of competencies that you need to pay attention to. And the reason for that is because we're gonna have like more of like these golems, we're gonna have more of like these tanky characters. And even if you can run like the floor on auto, you have to be careful because sometimes there's gonna be some sort of crit and you could lose one of these units. And honestly, like you don't want to lose like June, Makoto, Nozomi, you don't want to lose any of them in any particular floor. I know like not everyone has these units. I know it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the newbies, but don't worry about Tower of Luna and actually having to complete it. Like that's one of the most important things I have to say, because even though you start Tower of Luna at floor like 1 or whatever, you're progression will stay the same, and anyone who can beat floors 110 this stage will have like the same rewards as someone who starts at floor 1. All right, I want to make that very clear. We'll talk about like how that works after we get through this fight, but right now we're at the fray at the 20-second mark, and then we take down the mushroom, and there we go, the guaranteed victory that I was looking for. But in case you guys are wondering, that's how I've been like tackling floors. But the most important thing, in case you're like, oh Bork, like I can't get past like floor 50, or I can't get past like floor 40, whatever, you don't have to worry about it. Like everyone's going to get the same amount of rewards, everyone's going to get the same amount of stuff. You can see I was able to get to floors 1 through 70, so I completed all the different episodes and stories and stuff, and I was able to get all the jewels. The only thing that you'll miss out on is the fact that if you jump into missions right here, attempt the Tower of Luna, attempt for player EXP 20. So if you can't do Tower of Luna, you missed out on this. For anyone who's getting FOMO for like, oh, I can't beat this stage, I can't get to 110, don't worry about it. This is all gonna be here, all the rewards stay the same, and essentially you won't have any issues in my opinion. And all you have to do is jump into these past parties. Let's try using this team right here. They're running like some sort of team like this. My Shizuru ain't that strong. This is sort of like a testament to like the past parties, if it will actually work. And one of the things is, if you don't find a team that you can actually use in Choco's guides, try to run different things and experiment, especially during trial runs. Essentially, this is a solo like clan battle in some ways, solo giant dungeon, in case you guys are having difficulties. And it's kind of fun because you don't have to coordinate with people, you don't have to stay up like 24/7. You know, some people do that for clan battle. You can essentially min-max this thing to like the highest degree by being like, oh, I use my UBs during this time, I need to cancel this animation, this, that, and the third. And it's just a sort of fun way for everyone to sort of compete, in my opinion. So we're right around the 40-second mark. Everyone's doing all right. Hopefully no one gets taken down. And my Shizuru, she is not that strong, but her barrier might be useful enough in order to keep everyone alive right here. Are we doing her heals? And we might be able to continue. Honestly, magic is going to be a very good variation so long as you don't face any golems. And this team is performing insanely well, and it's not part of like the recommended teams. In fact, like magic isn't really that recommended currently. And yeah, I like how we sort of just went through the past parties. We trusted the process, and we were actually able to use this team as something that we could probably use for future teams. So in case you don't want to use like Choco's guide, you don't want to use guides in general, just go through the past parties and try to run things, because you don't have to do everything based off of a guide, I guess, and you can sort of explore like different things. But let's go ahead and do some arena, that way we can just talk about a few things. So when it comes to Tower of Luna, I think it's have to sort of experiment with it, and we'll go from there. Let me put Ninon in here, and I think we can do this hopefully, and we'll put in Miyako as well. I've never ran a team like this, want to see if it works. But anyways, right now some stuff is happening with me personally, so I'm gonna be gone for a couple of days. I need to take care of like some family members and drive out, take care of them, and I'll be back. I just want to put out this Tower of Luna guide in case some folks were like, Bork, what if I can't run Choco's guide? What if I can't, you know, finish any like sort of like floors and stuff? You don't have to worry, because all of the rewards stay the same no matter all the different levels of progression. And then when it comes to like actually beating like Tower of Luna, it doesn't matter because everyone's progression is the same. And when it comes to the different teams, you could use past parties, and you could definitely use magic teams to your advantage, because magic teams are just going to be much better in Tower of Luna, unless you face like a golem with like lots of magical defense. In case you guys are like, whoa, I don't have Tomo, I don't have Tama, and all these different like, you know, meta characters, you don't really have to worry about it as much, because a lot of like the magical units, I would say they're a little bit more accessible than a majority of characters. So right here we're down to the Reno, and we managed to win the fight. That is pretty sweet. So I guess you could use teams like this in case you sort of see Ilya, but honestly Ninon, she just burns up Ilya's all day. That's like her deal. And yeah, Tower of Luna, pretty fun stuff right here. Honestly, my highest recommendation is just do past parties, check it out, see what works, and go from there. Or you can check out the wonderful guides that Choco and Zanark made. I think these are both wonderfully written, and huge credits out to them, because this is going to be helping out the community so much. But anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Good luck to the folks trying to tackle Tower of Luna. Don't get worried, like I said, if you can't beat anything, just check out the past parties. I'm pretty sure that should resolve a couple of things for folks. But yeah, have yourself a fantastic day.